Hey everybody, this is Zach, or this is the Mile. I'm not Adrian, but this is the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm Zach, as I said previously. And who are you?
I'm Jeff.
And welcome to the podcast.
Yes, and because I refuse not to put the dates in now, it is February 5th, 2020, episode 177.
77, yes.
Yeah, I knew that off the top of my head.
Good for you, Jeff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Super Bowl is going on right now, so I'm sure we get peak listeners.
Well, it was going on like 3 days ago.
I understand that.
And I'm sure that everyone's very excited that the 49ers won the Super Bowl.
If you want, you can also record another take of that where you say the Kansas City Chiefs, and I can just put in what
those Chiefs really came behind in the fourth quarter to win it all.
Perfect.
Covered all the bases.
Yeah.
Of these superb owls that are going on right now.
Yeah. But, you know.
So we have to editorialize over it, or else they're going to sue the crap out of us
Obviously.
and run us out of business.
Yeah. That's what they want to do, because we're hurting them.
Yeah, we're really hurting. I mean, we have like 2 eyeballs that are on us.
Yeah. Like most, if not all of our Wednesday episodes, it's sponsored by Gray Fox Games.
Yes. So. And all we have to do, we could just say it once this time. We don't have to say it more than once.
That's true.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And then we could probably just go straight into some games, right, Jeff?
Yeah. Because, fucking games were played this last week. And there's only 2 of us, so we can... This is going to be like a third shorter episode.
Yeah.
It's going to be like an hour instead of an hour and a half. Because we don't have to listen to Adrian talk about snowboarding or sports or like refereeing in the football lands.
Uh-huh.
We get to talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Which is going to be Marvel Champions. Because that's what we streamed this last Friday.
Yes, it is. Because, Adrian wasn't here. And so that's one of the 2 games that we were planning on doing. This time we were facing the Green Goblin as Captain America and Ms. Marvel. One of the 2...
basically all the expansion stuff that's come out so far.
And we played the first of the scenarios, but an expert version of it. And oh boy.
Yeah, which you just play with like the level 2 and 3 card instead of the level 1 and 2. So he just starts with more health and more powerful abilities.
Yes. And then also it recommends you to use a certain side scheme, but we did not do that.
We're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I was Captain America.
Uh-huh.
We were going to fight Hydra.
And how'd that go for us?
Don't fight Hydra. You're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
Hail Hydra.
It was rough.
Spoiler alert, we lost.
Yes, we did.
It was also the first time we'd ever played against a harder boss.
I had done it once, but it was just Rhino. And that one wasn't nearly
as brutal.
It was just like, he hits a little bit harder. This one was bad, and Hydra really hurt us, and it kept adding side schemes. And then my nemesis got added to us, so I was Ms. Marvel. And
your nemesis sucks, dick.
Yeah. Basically, Thomas Edison adds 2 cards that are treachery cards.
Some weird Thomas Edison. This isn't the Thomas Edison.
No, it's not. I do wish that it was. That would have been funny.
That would have been better.
Yeah. But
I can punch this old man in the face all day. Whatever.
Yeah. But the treachery cards kept coming up. That was like, tap or exhaust all of the personas that Ms. Marvel has in play, which I had all 3 of them out, and heal the villain for each one. So he ended up healing 12 or 15 health just from that.
From your stupid nemesis cards, because it was like 3 per 3 per draw.
Yeah.
And we kept drawing it.
Yes.
And then your other nemesis thing was making us discard cards based on all of our upgrades and support cards. At one point, I discarded 11 cards.
Yeah.
Which was all of my Avengers Assembles were in there.
And you had all your Avengers out.
And I had 5 allies out, which would have just absolutely destroyed whatever the hell we were fighting. They would all have died just after that, but the Hulk finished them off instead. So,
which, to be fair, I asked you.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, there's a chance the Hulk could kill your entire team. And you're like, let's do this. And that's what happened.
Yep. I think you did just about more damage to us, because I think every time you drew like, do 1 damage to all characters.
No, it was the first time it was just more damage. The 3 next times it was that.
Yeah.
And then it was he just pieced out.
Yep.
And we definitely it had a lot of side schemes that were adding more cards that
we were drawing 5 encounters like every round.
Yeah,
because we had to discard so many cards so we were shuffling, and then when we shuffled, we would have more encounters. It'd be a rare occasion where we only ever had 1 and 1.
Yeah.
Because the side schemes would add 2, and then a shuffle would add 1.
Yeah. And so they kept bringing all of that stuff out, and it was just real rough.
And I was doing a good job of clearing out all of the side schemes.
Yeah.
And then that next phase, it would literally just all be back.
Yeah.
We'd get the stupid Hydra one that would bring Madam Hydra back out. I'd Heroic Strike her in the face, and then she would just come right back.
Yep. Because there are 2 of those schemes. That just
they would bring Hydra agents out, and it has more threat on it based on more Hydra agents.
And your nemesis is Hydra agents. So
and when it was finally all over, that my nemesis came in and just immediately murdered me.
Yep.
And then everything attached to you, because I got Madam Hydra, Baron Zemo, and your nemesis creature on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yes. We smacked around Madam Hydra a lot, but she just kept coming back because that's what she does.
Yeah. And you ended up getting knocked out.
Yep.
And had...
Because I had to discard a upgrade, and I was like, I'll get rid of Captain America's helmet. That makes it so I just don't die. And then I was murdered hard. But then we would have lost on that next round anyways.
Yeah, if I had been able to survive the scheming that was going on, then I would have been able to do like 14 or 15 of the 24 damage needed. So we would have gotten close, but it just would not have been enough.
No.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
But it was long, and it was
long.
It was just every time we thought we'd spend 1 to 2 rounds clearing it up, and then it's just like, and because you wasted time clearing stuff up, here's more stuff for you to clear up.
Yep.
It's just, God damn it.
And you kept having all your personas exhausted constantly.
Yeah.
I was doing all right, but I couldn't get the Avengers Assemble out, which is what really gets that huge damage boost. It's an extra 5 damage. I just kept having to use my heroes to thwart over and over and over because the schemes were getting out of control. On top of another time I had to discard a ton of cards. You had to discard a card for every token that was on Criminal Enterprise, and there was 9 on there at one point, and I was like, oh, there goes another 9 cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
But it was fun.
Yeah. It was certainly more challenging than the base level, because usually at the base level it's it's a little difficult here or there. We have to kind of plug this little hole, but then you get rolling at the end, and it's just and I've done 12 damage, and it's over.
Yeah, it's one of those things of as long as you just survive your buildup, then it feels fairly certain that you're going to win.
And my buildup in this one was hard because I didn't get my resource generating the Super Soldier Serum until the last 3 cards in the deck. That was brutal.
Yeah. No, and Hawkeye
did some work.
He did some work.
Yeah.
I had a lot of stuff doing some work. They kept making me discard the red dagger, whatever his name is.
Yeah, your ally person.
Yeah. Who's one of the best allies in Ms. Marvel's deck, and just kept making him discard, and I was like, God damn it, I want him back. It was real rough. But yeah. So that went well. We played Marvel before that on Wednesday, though, and that was at the game night, just as I was introducing it to Kaiser.
Yep.
And you were just playing with Wes, because Wes wanted to play with us, but he got here too late in order for that to happen.
Yes.
That went a lot sooner, a lot easier. I played Rhino with Kaiser, and we wiped the floor with him fairly easily. And I asked him, how he felt afterwards, and it was he enjoyed it, but he definitely wants to play again, because now he knows that he has a better idea about what's going on. So,
Wes played my Captain America deck, and I played my Iron Man deck, which I haven't played. I only played the Iron Man the one time. So, I kind of changed it around a little bit afterwards and put some more science resources in there that were added in one of the expansions. The enhanced awareness.
Oh yeah, that one's cool. Yeah, I put that in on one of my decks that has Black Widow, because she wants science resources as well, and so it's nice to just have that bank there to be I'm just gonna use that.
Yeah, it's a Justice yellow Iron Man deck. So because his repulsor blasts, for every you draw 5 cards, and for every yellow Justice symbol, you get an extra 2 damage, so you can get an extra 12 damage on top of that. If you get the the energy card
Yeah.
that has the 2 symbols on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that went well. We also played, what else did we play on Wednesday? We played Matroyshka,
Yes, Matroyshka.
which this is a set collection-esque game based around those Russian nesting dolls.
Yeah, there's like a certain amount of sets in the game based on player count, and then it's each set is numbered 1 through 7, and you go through 4 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like a hand of 6 cards to start with.
Yes.
You put 2 of them down because it's sort of like a bidding game.
Mm-hmm.
And you will draw 2, and then you put a card down that you think someone would want, and you have your cards that are in front of you that are telling other people what you want.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to give you a decent card so they will pick you.
Because you put that card face up when you're putting it down on the table. So you're basically offering this card up and being like, what do you guys want to give me in order to get this card?
Yep.
The thing is, you can't pass on a card. You can't be like, nah, I don't need that card. I'm good. So you always have to offer up something. And especially as you get later and later into the game.
Because each round you put 2 more cards down in front of you. So you have 2 cards that people can see, then 4, then 6, then finally 8. And then you put down like 13 total to make your score.
And so you have like 1 left over, but that means like you have like 1 bad card in your hand you can have. Everything else near the end, you're like, all of these things are scoring me points. And so you don't want to have to give someone a card, because if they decide to accept that card, now you just have that other card. And if it's a card you don't give a shit about, you're just like, God damn it.
Yeah. But it's about wanting to collect like consecutive numbers in one set.
Yeah.
But also numbers.
Yes.
So you want, like, we had like 6 sets in ours.
So we had
7,
I think.
Yeah.
No,
4-player game.
4-player game.
We took 2 sets out.
I think it's 8.
8 sets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, 8 sets, and then 10 sets if you're playing with 4 players or 5 players.
Yeah.
Maybe. But you basically want to focus on either numbers.
You want to get like a ton of 1s, a ton of 2s, a ton of 3s, or 1 through 7 of whatever the other sets are.
Because you get if you have 1 card, you get 1 point.
0
points. Sorry, yeah. Two cards, you get 2 points. 3 cards, you get like 4, and then it goes to like 7, 10, and then 15.
And if you collect sets, you get bonuses if you have like 5 or more, 5, 6, or 7.
Yeah.
Because I think you get 13 points if you have like 1 through 7.
I think that's like 15.
15? I think it's 13 plus a 2 bonus for the row bonus or something
like that, yeah.
But like if you just collect numbers, you don't get any bonuses, but you just get,
you get the numbers because if you're collecting the sets, it needs to be consecutive. So if you have like the 1, 2, and then the 4, 5, 6, that's going to be
2 points for the 1, 2, and then you get 4 points for the 4, 5, 6.
Exactly. Whereas if you had 5 1s, you get 5 because you can always order them in a way to,
Yeah.
So.
But you can see what everyone else has out. So you can know if like you have a chance of getting that card this round or not, or you can go another direction because you always draw 2 cards at the beginning of each round on top of that.
Well, not just that too, but you also, the cards that you've put face down, you collect them all back up.
Yeah, they don't have to stay.
So you can put some cards down, and then as you get better cards, you're like, oh, actually, I'm going to change my strategy to this, or like I see that Jeff is trying to go for these cards. Maybe I'll keep one of them to offer to him in an attempt to get a better card.
Yep.
So, but it's a fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Jake from Draft Mechanic fucking loves Matroyshka. It's his like favorite game of all time.
Not Carcassonne. Because I feel like he always plays Carcassonne.
I mean, he probably also plays Carcassonne, but he's very passionate about Matroyshka. And it's an easy to, transport game.
Yeah.
It has really dumb scorecards.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Kind of like the Star Realms sort of scorecards. Like the newer Star Realms scorecards, not so much the old Star Realms scorecards. Authority calculator. It's your Matroyshka authority.
Yep. I want to say that's all I played on Wednesday, and for the whole week because the only thing else I had was the Friday episode. So,
and then today's affair.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yes.
So, what else have you been playing?
I have also played some Root. Ant got in the new expansion. He was playing that at the Wednesday game night.
The underground? What is it called?
Probably the underground expansion.
Sure, yeah.
That's what we're calling it, because it's crows and moles are the new factions.
I'd also added like 2 maps too, right?
Yeah, we played on the new lake map. And then Julie, Ant's fiance, and Ant played the new factions. Julie was playing the Corvids, and Ant was playing the moles. Julie had played the moles before. Apparently the moles she saw as extremely powerful. Ant absolutely crushed both of us.
Nice.
I was playing cats. It was the first time I'd ever played cats.
Cats are interesting to play, yeah.
I liked cats. I know they got buffed with their like field hospital to make it easier to use.
That's good.
They did that back in the day when they did that first little balance patch to the game.
Yeah.
Because the cats were really weak in like really high player counts, because it was hard for them to use that field hospital with so many players just pounding on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's a little easier to get their cats back. Not playing cats, I had missed that no one could ever place any units on where my keep is. And the Corvids have a bunch of these little plot tokens.
Yeah.
They're like little traps that can do a variety of different things. Like one's an extortion that you can like take cards from other people. There's a like bear trap that makes it so people can't move out of that space. There's a bomb that'll blow up everything in that space. It'll literally clear the space except for your own stuff. That's what I was most afraid of, because the cats have to build up on these spots, and if she comes in and puts a bomb down, it'll take her a turn to like move it or flip it over. But like if she did that, it's like, all right, there went like 5 turns of like development on this spot, and then she'd get a point for every token she would remove on top of that. But she has to remove a meeple to put down a plot token. So she would want at least 2 there, because then she would have at least something there. But the way they spawn is when they recruit, she just puts down a color, and she puts one in every color on the board.
Oh, Jesus.
Of that, like orange, red, or yellow. But we both, Ant and I, really didn't want those bombs going off.
Understandable.
So we really like smashed her the whole game. Kind of like how the Woodland Alliance, you don't want to let them get out of control. We didn't want the plot tokens to get out of control. But,
makes sense.
But she doesn't get points for like the bomb exploding. She gets points for all of her other ones. And so she was trying to get all those other ones out, but we just kept, because you can attack them as well.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it's a token. Yeah.
Yeah, to get rid of them. But some of the tokens, like Raid, will go off even if you attack it and get rid of it. And what Raid will do is it'll put a meeple on every adjacent location.
Ugh.
And that's where she put one on my keep. And I had to spend basically a whole turn like marching back and like getting it out of there. And I was like, oh, she wouldn't have been able to place that there.
Womp.
I also screwed up how movement works at the beginning. When I was marching, I could do like 2 in one action. I could move twice. I forgot, because I haven't played this game probably since we reviewed it, that you can move an entire space's worth of units as one action.
Oh, yeah.
And not one meeple as an action. Thankfully, I only did this at the beginning of the game.
Did they correct you, or?
I had discovered later when someone else did that, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's how movement works. Because the moles got out of fucking control.
Yeah.
They have 2 different buildings of like 3 that make it so they can recruit like 6 in one action or something insane, or in one turn.
Jesus. But
But they recruit into their like little underground mole kingdom, and then they have to move out onto the board with little mole hole spots.
Gotcha. That makes sense, yeah.
But then they have this whole like the royalty system that they're trying to like get influence in. But like as you get influence where you're spending like 2, 3, or 4 cards, you get extra actions, and they're permanent as far as I knew.
Right.
Ant beat us by double. He got 30 and I had 15. And then I think Julie was like 3 behind. Julie didn't enjoy the Corvids and the 3-player, but the moles, once again, actually just dominated the game.
Cool.
Yeah.
How's the map itself?
It had this little raft that was never used. There's a big lake in the middle, and if you have the raft, you are adjacent to any of the other water spots that that you can get. And then the raft moves with all of those units to that location. So now the raft is at that other location you just went to. So whoever has control of that spot can use the raft. So basically all the water spots are adjacent to wherever the raft is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
it's about getting control of the raft. But Ant just took over the raft and then never moved it because he was worried about his buildings. So and then every time I tried to attack Ant, he just was like, ambush, ambush, ambush.
That's rough.
Yep. And I was like, oh, great.
Awesome.
Yep. So you're just going to take it over.
Yep.
And that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
You play anything else?
We played that adventure games.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Discover the story, the dungeon.
Yeah, so this is from Cosmos, the people that did Exit the Game. This is their sort of like more story-based game, choose your own adventure-esque adventure games. This one's
it's more like a classic point and click adventure game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry. So this one you basically wake up.
Yeah, you wake up in a dungeon.
Yeah.
And
it is an awkward title. When we were trying to figure out what it was called, I was like, oh, it's Adventure Games Discover the Story, the Dungeon.
Yep.
But we basically woke up in a dungeon and we were just trying to figure out how to get out.
Yeah, it's like your classic adventure game. You wake up in a dungeon. There's a dark space under the bed. There's a sewer grate in the floor. You can look outside. There's a loose brick in the wall. There's the door. And then you can kind of... we use the app. It does have a book that you can read all the entries out of, but the app worked super good.
Yeah.
At reading everything out. It's all voice acted.
Yep. All you had to do
voice
just...
read. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say acted.
Yeah, you just have to enter in like a 3-digit code or, depending on what you're doing, a 4 or 5-digit code.
Yeah, because you're not doing like use blank on blank. It's every card and location has a number, and then you just put that item number, like 17 in front of 304, and then you use the broom on the cobwebs.
Yep. So 17304.
Yeah.
So it's similar to in Unlock, where you're combining items with that one. You just sort of add the numbers up, and then you look to see if you had anything. This one is you're sort of just reading the numbers one by one.
Yeah, and Unlock has kind of like a little bit larger cards.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would even call that size card.
Tarot sized?
No, I don't think. I think they were smaller than tarot because Inish is tarot size.
Yes, it is.
I don't know, slightly larger than playing card. But this uses regular size cards, but then the areas that you're in are like really big, like 6 by 4 inch like room tiles, basically the size of the box. If you've seen any of the exit boxes or anything like that, that's how big the room tiles in Adventure Game are.
Yes. And like when you reveal one, it just has a bunch of numbers, and then the book or the app will sort of describe to you what each of those numbers mean. It's like you said, like it's a brick. There's a grate underneath here. There are some locked doors. And then on your turn, you basically can move anywhere you want. And then you can exchange items with somebody if you want.
There's usually a locked door or something in the way, and it's trying to figure out how to look at that door.
Yes. And then you just do an action, which is interact, like just reading a like one of those rooms, or like one of those objects, or combining 2 objects, or combining an object with the location. And there isn't any, as far as I can tell, there's no like time constraint of when like looking at things versus not looking at things, but you have health cards, and unsurprisingly, not all of the things you look at are helpful. Other times it's
because you have health.
Yeah, you have health. And, a lot of times it's like you look under here, oh, you found, a coin or something like that. Or you pull a switch, and the switch is to drop a rock on you.
That's all it does.
It's all it does.
Or you can reach into a grate and be like, snake.
Yeah. And we played
and there are characters.
There are characters that you can interact with, which is...
Certain events where, like, if you were this character, you might get a benefit out of it. Like... We found a dude in a jail cell, and I was like a lady character, and he thought I was his daughter, and gave me a horseshoe. Like that was like a bonus item. But it felt like we finished the first part.
Yes, because it can be split into 3 parts.
Yeah.
And it felt like any bad thing that could have happened to you in the first part happened to me.
Correct. Because there are some details you can see on the boards if you look close enough. Like there was these 3 switches, and one of the little pictures next to the switch is just clearly a ball falling out of the sky with like speed lines behind it.
But we didn't have time to look at that. I was like, hey, there's 3 switches. Let me pull this one.
The first one.
And now my shoulder sprained.
Yeah. But there's no real like penalty for a lot of health. I would assume there's like a scoring. There is a scoring at the end. Yeah. That you will get probably based on like health remaining or whatever. There was like an arrow trap that kept shooting you over and over again. Then I wasn't sure if you could go back to like you must have to be able to go back to those previous areas.
Yes, you can. That's why I was like telling you to take notes too, because like we saw there's like a box. It's like you don't know what to do with it.
And that's sewer great that we never found anything but the snake, but there's clearly something down there. But we got scored after that first section based on
like things. Icons that you were looking on, and we didn't have any.
We were at 0, and it was like, well, there was clearly something we missed, or why would it be trying to score at this point? So it seemed like there might be some stuff in there that you can kind of do per part. But
yes,
it was interesting.
It was all right. I mean, it was honestly like one of those things. Was like, I think I'd rather just play Dragonholt. Like if it, that same style of game. Mainly because I didn't feel any sort of time constraint off it. So it was sort of just like looking at everything, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, this is definitely the adventure game, the board game, where like Exit is the escape room board game.
Yeah.
And then Dragonholt is also sort of like a bigger adventure game.
That's the choose your own adventure.
Yeah. It was better than I was expecting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It was how Adrian react to it. It was slightly worse than I was expecting.
Oh, was he?
Like he was very. It might have been just because he had finished playing Escape Tales and did not like that one at all. So I played this one, and he was like, "Oh, I like this one a lot better." But maybe, So I was expecting. I don't know. Maybe it will improve in the second or third parts for me, but we'll see.
Yeah. Escape Tales, also Jake from Draft Mechanics' favorite all-time game.
Yeah. Also,
Yes.
Which we still need to play at some point. Like all the games.
Also, we found the save point in Escape Tales that Adrian was like, there's no way to save. It's literally in the back of the rulebook.
Yeah.
Is how you save.
Here's how you save it at any time.
At any time. We didn't find a part where we could stop. No, it just goes until you're like, we should break.
Right.
Yes.
Anything else that we played?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. We can get to that. Do you want to take a banter break then?
Sure.
Okay. And we can just talk about whatever the fuck we want. And I'll start off. So you know how the Oscars is coming up, right?
Yes.
So
Alamo they're going hostless
for the second time, I think.
Yeah.
But Alamo Drafthouse has been airing the the shorts that they have that have been nominated.
The animated and then the live action shorts.
I was gonna see the live action one, and then I forgot about it, and I was at home just watching 30 Rock or something like that for the umpteenth time. I looked at my phone, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna wait. But then I did see the animated shorts, and they were very good. Okay, 4 out of the 5 were really good.
Yes.
One was just and then they also showed the recommended ones, so the ones that didn't make it to the nomination, but you should check out. I'm gonna see if I can't find it after this stream, and I want you to watch it because it's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
But it's basically about these like French like alpine rescuers in a helicopter.
Okay.
And it's got like synth music in the back, and it's about them saving somebody, and it is goddamn hilarious. It's definitely one of the funniest things I've seen this year so far, this decade even.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, Owen.
Yeah.
But so I saw that. I don't think we've seen anything else yet besides the obviously
Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life. Did we not talk about that yet?
I'm sure we have. Yeah.
I think
best Bad Boys movie.
Yeah.
It's definitely that like modern action movie take on the Bad Boys.
Yes. Yep.
Because I have recently in the last like 2 weeks that they popped up on Netflix, I guess, or maybe they were always there and now they're trending or whatever. But I watched both recently.
Yeah.
Probably a week or so apart.
Yeah.
The Bad Boys one is better than I remembered.
Oh, that was I actively disliked it when I finished watching
Oh,
it.
yeah?
It just felt so 90s and
it did.
But not in a good way.
I don't know.
For me at least.
It
felt like Michael Bay's first film, which it was.
Was it Michael Bay's first film?
Yes, it was.
Wow. Then I watched Bad Boys 2, which is definitely like early aughts action movie. Like I was like, this is like how The Rock was, except not as good as The Rock, but still entertaining.
Yeah.
That movie, like it's the DEA guys that come up at the end, it was like, all right, there's 30 more minutes.
Yeah.
I still got to go to fucking Cuba.
God, yeah.
But the DEA guys that come up because they're going to go to Cuba on their own, and they're like, you know how crazy us ex-Delta Force people are. Now the DEA guys are Delta Force as ex-Delta Force.
Yeah.
They went into the DEA.
And also it was weird how Bad Boys for Light didn't mention the fact that they just basically caused an international crisis, and it just was never mentioned again.
They do mention like, oh, here's somebody from the FBI and the CIA. We're trying to use back channels and whatever, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And then there's like this whole like Cuban underground that
it felt like they just went to war with Cuba.
There's like literal 1-sentence explanations for why the Cuban army is there, why they're getting help from like a Cuban underground. This dude gives Castro all this drug money. Yep. Like it was all these like boom, 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 boom. It's like, what the fuck is going on in this movie?
Yeah.
But Bad Boys 2 is great and funny.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed both of them, but Bad Boys for Life, by far the best one.
But as Mike points out, they really should have saved that title.
Yeah,
for the fourth one.
Absolutely.
Especially because they were making the fourth, like they started pre-production on the fourth one, like before the third one came out, which also
they probably were like, oh, this isn't going to suck. Let's make another one.
Yeah, which also is one of those things where you're like, okay, well, I know that they're going to make it out now. Obviously, I knew they were going to. But
Bad Boys Forever.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm curious to see where they're going to go for this now.
That fucking god-awful Fast 9 trailer came out.
Yes, it did. F9, the Fast Saga.
Is it just F9?
It's F9, yeah.
All right.
It's just...
it's just ridiculous.
It's just... And I can't wait
No Rock.
No
Jason Statham.
No. As far as we can tell.
His mom is in it.
His mom is in it.
Mom, whatever.
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren is in it, yes.
There are so many weird shit that's going on, and the end of the trailer is basically a car doing like a Tarzan swing.
Yeah, using a grappling hook.
Yeah, to do a swing, but not a grappling hook.
It uses the Hobbs and Shaw logic of tow cables,
yes,
where it just immediately and securely attaches itself in midair.
Yeah.
You didn't just sort of luck out.
Yes. I mean, but we know the main thing about Fast and Furious is it's all about family.
Yes.
And so this one adds another piece of the family. Vin Diesel's obvious brother, John Cena. Who's like this super, super special agent sort of dude.
Yeah. Yep. He sure is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see him, so he's the best secret agent.
Yeah. And I'll just go ahead and spoil the end of the trailer too, where Han comes back,
just alive again after dying on screen in 2 different movies.
Because he died in. I know people want to hear more Fast and Furious shit after we talked about it.
It was a good 17 minutes.
Yeah, it was. But he died in Tokyo Drift at the end.
The third one?
The third one. And then so they made 3 movies, 4, 5, and 6 to happen before 3 because they liked the Han character so much.
The director did.
Yes, Justin Lin.
Yes. Who is back for this one?
Yes.
Which is probably why Han is back.
Yeah. You know what? People just wanted Han back, and it's
People
good.
love Han.
Yeah.
Was he only in the third movie?
No, he was
to start with.
To start with, but people liked him so much they're like, we should just write him in.
Okay, so he was in the third movie and then the prequels, so 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
All right.
And then 7 was basically about that was Jason Statham's character. He basically
they retconned him into killing Han.
Yes, because
they killed his brother.
Except they didn't.
Okay,
and then he's fine now.
And now they're all family.
Because he rescued Vin Diesel's kid at the end of 8, I want to say. And so they're like, all right, you're cool now. And a lot of the fans are like, what the fuck? This guy killed Han. And so Han's back. So now everything's good.
Because he survived the upside down car explosion?
Yeah. He probably Nick Fury'd it. He had like that laser thing that cut underneath the car.
Model decoy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's that also that, yes.
I'm looking forward to that card in Marvel Champions.
Oh, yes. But yeah, that was just a ridiculous trailer.
Yeah, that series has jumped the rails, and they did it like 4 movies ago.
Yeah.
And then they found new rails to somehow jump over to.
Yeah. Every time they jump, they realize that as they're jumping, as they're falling, there's more rails. Then they somehow do a double jump in the air, breaking physics to then be able to jump over those rails again.
Yes, it's a constant anti-gravity rail jumping system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still haven't hit the other rail that they jumped off of.
No. But you know what? I'm all in on this one. It's
I feel that's where Bad Boys 4 is going to go.
Exactly.
It's going to go Fast and Furious and just get way crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
But That's what I've watched.
I've still never seen a Fast and Furious movie.
What?
I've seen a Fast and Furious Presents.
Okay, you saw Hobbs and Shaw.
I saw Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
And I was very appreciative of the Alamo Drafthouse's like last time on Hobbs and Shaw, where they explained all of the Hobbs and Shawing, which I got a lot more out of the movie, knowing all of their deep backstories.
Right? Yeah, that's why I watched all those movies. I couldn't miss anything. And it ended because they realized that this superhuman could completely analyze what one person was going to do and counter him and say, hey, how do you do that? Is you just throw another person in there and his computer systems are like, oh, I can't handle 2 inputs.
Just be behind the other guy. Just punch him in the back of the head over and over again. And then they defeated Idris Elba.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. But Han clearly can't be the bad guy from that now.
No, they can't.
Maybe he can. Maybe it's a crossover now.
No,
maybe Han's the bad guy. So Jason Statham really killed the bad guy. And now everyone's like, fuck Han. Han killed Vin Diesel's character that I don't know his name.
Dom?
Sure.
Dominic Toretto?
All right. That's his name, I guess.
Vin Diesel.
Yes.
Yes, that is his character's name.
All right, good.
The final season of BoJack Horseman came out, but I haven't watched it yet because I haven't had the time, and I'm sure I don't have enough tissues at home for all that shit. And also just the pity of just just a pit of self-despair. We'll see how it goes. But you finished Good Place, right?
Yeah. I sure did. The Good Place finale was this week. I only just recently started watching it. A couple months ago, if
nice.
That. It was good. It was a good finale.
Good. That's what I've heard. I've heard it.
I mean, the past, like where they got to like 3 or 4 episodes ago, and I was like, oh, this seems like over. And then they sort of just used the last 3 episodes to kind of like have like little one-off things of like.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, it was really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Ted Danson's second series finale, last sentence off, because he also had the Cheers finale where he got the final word.
Yep. But I'm looking forward to watching season 4 of that. Yeah.
I watched the first and second episode of Picard.
How was that?
As a big Next Gen fan, it's okay. It's still a little too, what's his name? There's a guy that did all like the Discovery stuff that's not really like executive producer on this, but he's written a little bit of it. It's still kind of weird and off in some way. I mean, it's modern television, not like
Kurtzman,
yeah, Alex Kurtzman. I don't know. First episode was okay. Second episode was meh. So I'm a solid like 5, 6 out of 10 right now.
Would you say it's something that you should just wait for it to finish and then get that free trial and just binge it, or right now at least? Yeah.
It's okay.
Gotcha.
I mean, all the little story developments they've had in it, I've just been like, it's basically like Picard has been mourning the loss of Data for like 20 years. But it never seemed like they were that close anyways, that he would just be like, oh, my God, my friend that died in the line of duty in Starfleet 20 years ago. It doesn't seem like Picard would be like, he's had plenty of people die under him before, but I guess
but not a robot.
And their friendship wasn't that solid in the show. Like, they were friends, and he was always about like helping Data become more human, but I never seemed like they were close friends. Like, Geordi was Data's fucking friend.
Right. Like,
I want a Geordi LaForge show, but Geordi's in this spot because he's mourning Data for fucking 2 decades. Well,
I'm sure he's just like in an insane asylum. If Picard is taking it so hard, imagine someone who really cared.
But I look forward to some of the, stupid cameos. They're going to, like, 7 and 9 is going to be in there. Number 1, not the dog.
Jonathan Frakes?
Yeah. His dog is named Number 1. Get it?
Because he pees a lot.
Yes. That dog is filled with pee. He runs a winery because his brother had a winery, so.
I didn't know he had a brother, so I didn't watch much.
Well, they killed him off in Generations. That was the whole storyline because Picard never took time to make a family, and his brother had a family, and then they died in a fire, and now he has no like legacy. His Picard name will end at him because he has no kids. Generations wasn't very good either. So,
is that the one with
William Shatner.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Where they had to turn all the lights off because they were filming on the TV sets. And so they looked real bad, so they made it really dark.
Nice.
Yeah. If you look, yeah. I'll show you a comparison of like some generation shots
Okay.
of the bridge to like the TV show, and it's just like, oh yeah, that would have looked like crap on a movie. So that's also why they blew up the ship at the end of the movie.
Right.
Because now they can have a new movie
ship.
Movie ship.
Nice. That's not the one. Well, the last one was the one with Tom Hardy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what this picks up after.
Okay.
That's where Data died
Gotcha.
at the end.
Okay.
But they brought back Brett Spinner?
Yes.
I don't know how to say his last name.
One of those two.
Brent did.
Oh, yeah, the guy from Independence Day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Independence Day Resurgence.
Ah. Well,
He was
that's weird.
He was in the sequel.
Okay.
Yep. Did you see it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
See it.
He was in a coma this whole time.
Okay.
And then when they came back, he woke up
Oh my god.
like the spaceship.
Was it Nemesis was the one with
Correct.
Tom? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the Romulan slave moon Remans made a secret super ship and cloned Picard. And then they were like, we can't do this clone deal anymore because of reasons. And so they threw the clone in the mines. And then he grew up in the mines, but he was like a 1-to-1 clone of Picard.
Because when I think of Patrick Stewart, I think of Tom Hardy.
It was Tom Hardy a long time ago.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Before Bronson and Batman.
Yeah. And the way they explained it in the show, because they've shown young Picard and he had hair. And then they were like,
Don't. I feel like I've seen young. Come on. That's,
but they've shown him with hair in the TV show, but in the movie, they were like, hey, here's this picture of me when I was younger. And I had just shaved my head for like some Starfleet cadet like bet thing. And so they showed Tom Hardy with no hair as the younger him.
of course. Of course.
I was like, that's a stupid way to explain it.
yeah.
So yeah, Picard's okay.
Well, all right then.
A lot more explosions and stuff.
I'm sure.
And a lot more fucks. They can say fuck now because it's a streaming service.
Yes, they can.
Yeah. Discovery technically got the first Star Trek fuck, but they used 2 fucks in the second episode.
Ooh.
Yeah. The sheer fucking hubris, specifically.
Nice.
Yes.
I think that's some good banter right there.
I mean, if anyone wants to talk about Star Trek, I can talk about some goddamn Star Trek.
It's, you know what? It seems like you can.
I still have that Star Trek Ascendancy game that I need to play at some point.
Yes.
And there's a million expansions, and I need to get the expansions before they fucking go out of print again, because they just released a new one.
Oh, yeah.
But now I need to figure out if I like the game or not first.
Yeah. That's the one that, is that like Mage Knight or I don't know.
No, that's Frontiers,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think
Banter complete.
banter is complete, so that means we get to move on to some. Do we have any Bloody Minute?
No.
No? Right?
Yeah, season doesn't start for like 3 weeks.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Is there any like bowls before that or?
I think that it's going to start the week of.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's the end of February is the next one. So.
Yeah, the next tournament. It's the KO Bowl. It's just kind of your
standard.
standard.
It's on the 29th.
It's on the 29th.
Because he wanted Leap stuff. Okay.
Yes.
So we don't have any of that, but we do have some more Kingdom Death. I know we did.
Yes.
I know we did it last week, but
And then we did it again this week.
And then we did it again this week.
Suck it.
Adrian wasn't here, so we just had to, it's like, oh, we can just get another
We
one
can
in.
just play another one. Yeah.
But it's almost better to make him just
Be here.
Yeah.
So it started off with yesterday. Paul had logged into our app that we use for some reason, but he was like, hey, do any of your guys' apps work? And then we're like, nope, they sure don't. Apparently there was some bug in the app that when you started it up, it would just go white. You could kind of like see the logo flash behind it, but then it would just burp, nothing.
Wouldn't load up, wouldn't do anything.
And
no matter how many times you closed it, like restarted your device, any of that. Yeah.
So if you deleted the app and then reinstalled it, it would work fine. But it also deletes all of your
backups,
your settlements, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I had made a backup, and
I made a backup too.
Yes, and then when I updated my iPad, it updated the app, even though I turned off automatic app updates. downloads. That totally turned them off. I updated my iOS, and then it updated all my apps without me confirming anything.
I didn't turn that off because I never have had a reason to not have that on.
Yeah.
And so I looked at it and I was like, okay, I'm not going to update it, but I forgot about the auto updating. I plugged it in to charge it, and it's like, oh, we've got battery, we've got Wi-Fi, let's update some things. And then I lost mine. My phone was still working fine through all of this, except it had the settlement from like 10 years prior.
Year 8.
Yeah. And we were on like 19. So
yeah, 19 at least, 18 or 19. So Paul put in like a bug report with the guy who got back to him and was like personally talking to him about it, where Paul ended up plugging his phone into his computer and going into like some sort of dev environment where the guy debugged his app like right there on the spot and figured out what the problem was, put in an app update for it. And by the time we met up, probably, I don't know, like a couple hours into when we were playing, the update was already out for Android, and iOS takes like an extra day because Apple takes at least a day.
They have to look over everything and
Yes.
be like, is this okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for a small bug patch that was apparently very unique to whatever our campaign was.
Yeah.
Either like the amount of gear we had or certain gear items combined with certain resources, like something in there, like a 0 got turned to a 1 or a 1 got turned to a 0, and just ours, basically the 4 of ours were fucked.
Yes.
And so this guy fixed it.
Yeah. Which kudos to him, man.
Yeah.
I'm definitely glad I've given him $5 now.
Yeah.
You've given him $5.
We've given him at least $15.
Yeah.
So we started out playing a new campaign because all we could get to work, because we had a backup for everything, and I didn't update I didn't delete my iPad version, so we would have that backup there when the app was fixed, so it wouldn't wipe the backup, and then everyone could pull that when we would sync next time we play. So we used like my phone and Thursby's phone, and then
my phone and my iPad.
Yes, and then Paul was using your phone because his app wouldn't work at all.
Yeah,
and when we deleted and reinstalled, it would work again because it didn't have the campaign in there.
And it was real great because he was giving us shit for having iOS because he's like, oh, you can't just update your
you can't just import the backup.
And then we're just like, nope, sorry. And then we're like, okay, let's just do this own thing. And he's just like, no matter how many times he reinstalls it, it just wouldn't. And so like, oh, so really the only thing that's not working is the Android one.
I would assume because when you delete the app, it doesn't delete the backup.
Yes.
And the backup, the settlement was actually what was causing the problem. So we started off on a new campaign, which was like a side campaign. It's People of the Lantern. It's a base game. But Paul has really been wanting to play this seven swordsman version. You have 7 characters.
And that's it.
That's it. They all have ageless, so they don't retire.
They don't retire, and you can when you would give them XP, you can choose not to take it.
Yeah.
So,
and then they all have sword mastery, 8 proficiency points in sword.
Yep.
Which when you
gives you like an extra accuracy, speed, and strength
when using a sword.
Yeah.
Except no one starts with a sword in this campaign. We all start with founding stones and cloth. So after the first fight, we only could give 2 people swords, bone blades. And then we fought a level 1 lion who proceeded to kill one of us, giving us 6 people. It was an enraged lion because we went after the cub, of course.
Like fools.
Because there's no option not to, so you just have to go for it. That's a lie. You can totally not do it.
Yeah, you can totally not do it, but you always want to.
Yes, because it's a bunch of extra resources, especially early.
But this one...
And then but it's only if you roll like a 1 or 2 that you get the enraged lion. The rest is fine. So we had someone immediately die, and then we went back to the settlement phase, and
we got like plague, and we're like,
no, because then everyone else is going to die.
Yeah. Well, and so because we only have the 7 population, they don't interact with people outside of their settlement, so you can't have anybody join you.
Nope.
And they have no love in their heart,
nope.
So they will never do intimacy.
Correct. So you only have those 7, and if one dies, that's it.
Yep. And because of that, you never can get survival of the fittest or even protect the young. So you can never get like the for survival of the fittest, the +1 evasion and +1 strength, or the lifetime reroll. So that means so many things. If you just roll and you have one bad roll,
it's over.
It's over.
Yep.
And then I think we had another person die to something.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was another death.
Yep.
Of some fashion. And then Paul was like, hey, the app is updated. Mine works. And so we went back to our old campaign.
Yep.
Because that one was a unmitigated disaster.
Yes, it was. It's one of those things that was like a lot of fun in idea and like thinking about it. But then once we played it, it was like, oh, this is not going to end
Everyone's
well.
just going to immediately die. And then it's just whatever.
Yeah.
So we went back to our People of the Stars. Year like 18 or 19.
It was 19 because we had to face the Tyrant level 3.
Yes. Was that the first thing we did? It was. Okay.
Because that's what we were wanting to do the previous time, but Thursday had to leave. And so that's what we were looking forward to. And that's why he was so annoyed when the app wasn't working, because we really wanted to do that. And that, like, after you do that, you fight him a third time, you really get to figure out, like, he basically checks out your settlement again and like is giving you more information about what's going on.
So we fought the Tyrant level 3.
Yep.
Which is probably the highest leveled nemesis we've fought. Maybe, well, we had the Manhunter level 4.
No, we've only had a Manhunter level 3.
Yeah, that's 4. Right. He goes to 4, but we never we have that. That's in this campaign actually.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So he really fucked us up, but not as bad as I was expecting.
No, we were able to wound out all his legendaries, which was good. But he ended up doing something to me that ended up killing me. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't fun. I remember that.
Was it the brain thing? No, that was later.
That was
great. So we fought the Tyrant level 3.
Yeah.
Tyrant level 3 decided to trash us a little bit.
Luckily, he was never able to get built up to really fuck with us, and like we had a lot of armor and stuff like that.
Yeah, we got a good.
I just remember I had like I think it was Insanity that killed me or something like that too.
Yeah. So we crit him in something that made it so every time he does like a resonance reaction, which is kind of like a unique thing to him. He has these cards with purple numbers on them. The higher those numbers get, the more this crazy shit goes off and destroys someone at the beginning of his next turn.
Yeah.
But it had like reversed chakras. So instead of doing that, he would just give whoever two insanity.
Yeah.
Which was way better than destroying people over and over.
Yeah.
So we beat that. Did you die in that one?
I did die, yes.
You did die. Which was... what skill did that guy have?
That killed me?
No. What were you going for? Any weapon proficiency in that one?
Oh, no, that one. Yeah, I was thinking. I don't remember what I was going for. I had guitars, but I think I was just going to start using them again.
Yeah.
Because we had a guitar master, and so I was like, oh, I'll just use the specialization that somebody already has.
Yeah.
But as we were heading back, we got the time-tested
Clinging Mists.
Yet again.
We rolled high once again, which means we could have just immediately gone out on another hunt with 3 players.
Yep.
Or started a new settlement. So once again, we started a new settlement. We left the old one behind.
Yep.
That was kind of fine, but
the problem
we were getting into the end game, which we have to have like multiple People of the Stars, and we just had like we had people get close and then die.
Yes.
Over and over.
There's only one person that did, and so he made a copy of himself
with the sculptor.
So there were 2.
Yep.
But both of them were very high level, and it was like all the characters that were left it was like those 3, maybe one more, and then new people, and new people couldn't get brought onto a lot of the shit. So it was,
and I think I had even brought a new person out,
but
to
it was
the
like
Tyrant.
But it was like a good new person, I think.
It was pretty basic, I think.
No,
they had Iridescent Hide,
Yeah.
which was very important to my build because I have a full dragon armor set with Iridescent Hide, which gives me +1 armor to all locations per color affinity that I have, and I have 1 of each color. So I think I had like 4, 5, 8 dragon vestments for 9, and then if we did shrine, I would have 10 in every location. So we made a new settlement. a new People of the Stars. We rolled off. We had 8 people, and then we went off to fight a level 2 lion. Because all we could fight was a lion.
Yep. We had a lot of good gear, but
we changed which expansions we had in the game.
Yeah.
We threw Gorm back in. We cut out the Flower Knight and the Manhunter. So we just have like Lion God, which we had never played with before. So we'll see what that is.
Yep.
Gorm, Dung Beetle Knight, because we had some really cool like calcified items that we wanted to keep. Because if we didn't have Dung Beetle Knight, those would probably just disappear.
Oh yeah.
And maybe one other. Oh, and then like Dragon King.
Yes.
Because that's the campaign we're playing. So we were like, let's fight a level 2 lion. Paul was like, we can do a level 3. And I was like, let's do a level 2.
Well, especially because at least 2 people were new.
Yep.
Or I think it was
because Thursby's character had to skip next hunt.
My character died.
Yep.
And then
so we only brought 3 characters into this new campaign.
Luckily, you dragged my corpse too. So
yeah, we dragged all your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, just like we kept all the stuff on the corpse. It was easier to carry your body with it all attached still.
Yes.
So level 2 lion, which proceeded to absolutely fuck us up.
Yeah.
Thursby was throwing 1 die. Yeah. On the hunt, you got the Twilight Sword.
I did.
Which only hits on a 9, even though you had these awesome Katars that were like 5+5+ on 3 die.
Yeah.
Because it was only 10 toughness. But 2 of our characters were only throwing 1. And then the lion at the end of every turn runs away with someone. And he just kept running away and just absolutely just pounding people.
Yep.
He pounded me in the chest every time to where I took multiple severe injuries and then just died.
Yeah. He was really good at like hitting the same spot over and over again.
Paul took 2 severe injuries, but rolled 3 twice, which gave him 4 bleeding tokens. Bleeding tokens are like nothing because you never bleed to death.
Except when you do.
He took 4 bleeding tokens, and then after damage, the lion does 1 bleeding damage. And if you ever take 5 bleeding tokens, you bleed out and die.
So he just he had like a lot of shallow wounds, but he just bled out.
Yes. And literally 1 attack, he went from 0 to 5 bleeding tokens.
Which is ridiculous.
Getting away with bleeding tokens on a severe injury is great, though, until you take 5 in 1 turn and immediately die.
Yep.
So then you decided to switch to the good weapons and kill him very quickly.
Yes, yep.
Which would have been way better had we not spent like 6 turns of you swinging and missing.
We just needed it to hit once. Because once it hit once, then because your accuracy is based on 9 minus your skill,
your proficiency.
So if you go 1, now it's just 8+, 7+ if you're behind it.
Yep.
6+ if you're pouncing. With that thing. So it would have been a lot easier. It just, we never got that one hit. And eventually it was like, fuck it. And so,
but by then 2 people had died.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we'd have done a level 1, it'd have been fine.
It probably would have been better to punch the shit out of him early, because then he would have only had like 1 or 2 cards and we would have been able to plan around it instead of having his whole deck and just like creaming us with like his full tool set.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So your guys' characters died. And so
there went Iridescent Hide.
Yep. Tisk.
Yep.
So then we went back. You guys got new characters. We decided to finally make some babies. And then
Which we did very well on.
We did very well on.
You need an 8+ to do intimacy with just the base roll.
Yeah. And Paul just kept rolling fucking 8s, 9s, and 10s.
And then he was doing really well in the intimacy rolls. At one point he had to like re-roll a 3 and he re-rolled it into a 6 and it was totally fine. Then we went off and fought a Screaming Antelope, level 2. Did anyone die in that one?
I died in that one.
You died in that one.
So that's where I brought Brock Sampson with me.
That's right.
And I had all the gear I had before, but I said I wanted to try out daggers because there's definitely some better daggers.
Yeah.
And with my White Lion gear, it made my daggers not suck.
Yeah.
Because it gave me an extra die, 2 more strength.
Yep.
So then I was rolling like, I had 7 pluses that I had to hit. That I could re-roll any 1s that I got, and then my strength was like a plus. With the 2 I started, it was like +5. So on all of these like level 1, level 2 things, it was 50 like 5+ on most of them.
Yeah.
So that one, I ended up just not having
enough sanity,
and then
you took a severe brain trauma.
Yep. And I just
which you rolled a 2,
Yep.
which is dead.
Mm-hmm.
You re-rolled it, and you rolled another 2,
Yep.
which you were continued to be die.
Yes. And the thing that really hurt us every time we start over, not having dash, not having surge,
not having anything to spend our survival on,
just hurt.
not having survival.
Yeah. It always is like, oh, right. We're a lot less cautious because we have all these ways to save us. Instead, now we're just like, I hit this guy and I'm like, aha, now I'm going to do nothing. And then he's going to turn around and then
back kick you into the future.
Yes.
So what killed you is the trap card got you, I think, because it did sanity damage to you that caused the severe brain trauma. Then we finished off the antelope, got a bunch of resources, and then we went for some more intimacy rolls, which Paul got using Thursby's like really good grand weapon character, and then like our one really good character we brought over that had like a ton of courage, because we could give like half our courage rounded down to like the newborn and a bunch of really great abilities. And then he rolled like a 7 and a 3.
He rolled a 7 and a 2.
And a 2.
But
2 and 3 are the same.
Yeah. And that turns basically the woman gets destroyed genitals, the baby.
The woman can't do intimacy anymore.
And it was like, okay. And then so they ended up spending
reroll to try and not have that happen. But if you roll a 1, both parents die.
Yep.
Which is what happened.
And like they were 2 real good characters, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. So we've already had 5 deaths.
Yeah.
In 2 years.
It's been rough.
Yeah.
Well, and we also came back. You were returning. One of the times I died, you returned, and we had nicknames, which is like you roll on a chart, and it's like, oh, you get like if you get a really good nickname, then you get actually
basically you roll a d10 on a 1, you get a minus stat, on a 10, you get a plus stat, and it's like accuracy, strength and speed. And I rolled a minus accuracy on my plus accuracy character, and then later got another plus accuracy from something.
Well, it was everybody kept rolling 1s and 10s, so they'd get something good, but then also something bad. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. So yeah, we fucked up our stats on a bunch of characters, and that's basically it. And that's where we ended it.
Yes, it was.
Yep. 5 deaths in 2 years is brutal.
Yep.
Unless, it's all these great characters, all this great armor.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be the sad day when we get one of the things that's like, oh, this person dies and you have to archive everything they have.
Yeah. All our gear's like real great. So.
Yep. But yeah, I think that's it for Kingdom of Death Hour.
Well, Kingdom of Death 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Yeah. That's fine. Adrian always likes to exaggerate. So.
Yes. Kingdom of Death 1/3 of an hour.
There we go. 15 minutes with shrinking down and stuff like that. So it's fine. But with that, I think it's time to move on to some news and Kickstarter.
Yeah. It's a pretty slow news week. But first up in news this week, we have this wonderful group called the Exit Games.
Yep.
And they got a new one coming out. Shocker.
What?
That
doesn't seem right. They're announcing another one called the Stormy Flight. And so this one is
Are you just on an airplane?
Yeah, pretty much. You're trying to navigate the mother of all electrical storms.
Okay.
And then you're just trying to band together and use your wits to solve the riddles and repair the plane. As you know, we're a big fan of most of the Exit games.
Yeah.
But my problem is that it keeps like, what was it? Like Catacombs was the last one I felt that was like
great.
I haven't
challenging.
Played it yet. Challenging. It's like 4.5 out of 5. But the last 4 I feel like I've played have been like 2 out of 5, which are beginner ones basically.
Yeah.
Those tend to be the ones that are you solve like a puzzle at a time, and that's not as interesting to me.
Yeah.
And also it really hurts the amount of people that are playing at once, I think.
Yeah, if you play one that's too low difficulty and you have like 5 people, that gives 3 people something to do and 2 to sit around.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But this is going to be released sometime in April this year. Who knows? I might still check this one out.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that they start doing more of the difficult ones.
Yeah.
Because it's nice having those beginner ones, but not all of them need to be. You can have a progression of difficulty in those things.
Yeah, it always seemed like they would release them like 3 at a time, and like at least one of them would be like that more difficult one. But now it seems like not so much.
Oh yeah. Yeah. May here says that they should follow their adventure game series naming convention and just make it super annoying.
Yeah. Exit the escape room game, the airplane.
The airplane in the Stormy Flight series, number 1.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Exit the Stormy Flight, find your nearest exit. It might be behind you. Follow the lights.
You're dead already.
Yep. All right. So that is the newest Exit game.
Yeah.
The next one, I don't know if people know this, but Jeff likes Cabo.
Cabo.
And you know what somebody announced?
Cabo Deluxe.
Cabo Deluxe.
Not really.
Not
really. So it's a new version of Cabo Deluxe Edition. It's going to be $20. It is like bigger score sheets, and new card backs.
Mm-hmm.
And I say new card backs because it comes with 2 decks in a bigger box. And their reasoning for this, I mean, the bigger score sheet is fine.
Yeah.
But there's 2 decks, so you play with one deck, and then while you're playing with that deck, the other deck is sitting there already shuffled, ready to go. So then when you're done with that one round, you just put those over and start shuffling those while you're just dealing out the second deck.
Saving you
mere seconds.
Because you're just shuffling it and you're like, oh, I wish I could be playing Cabo right now instead of shuffling these Cabo
all
cards.
This downtime in between hands of Cabo. Who can save me?
Yeah.
I'm going to buy it.
I'm sure you will. And at the very least, it means that box is like the tightest box I've seen for the amount of cards.
I've shredded that box
Okay.
because like I can't fit my fingers in there to get the damn cards out.
You got to hope this box is at least a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah. Hopefully it's like they have a picture of the box, but I don't really know how it functions as a box.
Well,
is it like a lift lid type box, or
I don't know.
Or a sleeve box? If it's sleeve box, that's going to suck again.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll put some pieces of foam in there to keep the score pad.
Just the one though. Only the one.
Yeah.
But this also means that you could also just play 2 games of Cabo at once, like with different.
Yeah,
groups.
you could just play 2 games. I will now own 3 copies of Cabo.
There you
with
go.
This.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll combine the decks and I'll play like a 8-player game of Cabo.
Yes. Oh God.
I wonder if they do have a link to the rule book, which I have not looked at. I don't think they've changed the rules in any way. This is their specific wording. It includes 2 decks of cards, each with different backs. This allows you to have one deck shuffled and ready to play while you are playing with the other deck. It's like, does it really need that?
Yep. But yeah, this will be coming out in February, so you can check
like
it
2
out.
weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any rules changes or anything to the game. The rules look a little more clear, with some better visualizations in the rule book for like kamikaze and stuff like that. But otherwise, no changes to the game rule wise, like how Silver changed some stuff,
right?
Where you need at least 1 exchange before you can call the end of the round, and things like that.
Yeah.
For the last up on news.
Yep.
Fantasy Flight has an expansion coming out for Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle Earth, coming out, called Shadowed Paths. Seems like it's going to add a lot of Moria and undergroundy type enemy stuff.
Yeah, it's going to have like
Balrog?
I wouldn't
I don't
be
know
surprised.
if that looks like a Balrog to me. It's got a whip and wings.
Yeah, so it's going to add
sick fire sword.
5 new heroes, which the base game came with 5 or 6. 25 new enemy miniatures, 20 journey map tiles, as well as new terrain item cards, a new campaign.
Like 14 mission, 13 mission?
scenarios, taking you from the tangled paths of Mirkwood deep into the shadowed halls of the abandoned Moria. And if you remember when I played this at BGG Con, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, especially with the high fantasy theme.
Exactly. So it's interesting to see, new characters. It's hopefully you would be able to use these and just like these aren't specific to this campaign.
Yeah, usually they're pretty good about that at least. And you can bring in the old characters into the new campaign.
Yes, yeah. But the one thing that this has over the one new thing that it's adding to it is corruption. So you can take health damage and stuff like that, but usually it'll heal over each of the scenarios. But this corruption will actually last throughout the entire campaign and is tracked by the app. This corruption can weigh in on a hero, triggering certain events during your adventure, because basically it's leading you down corruption and you know abandoning your morals and stuff like that.
As is life.
Yeah, right.
Price point on this is going to be $80.
$80.
That seems like a lot. But it seems like it's a big expansion, but boy, is that expensive.
Yes, it definitely seems like that's comparable to the amount of stuff that came in the base box. So
yeah, I think the base game was $100.
That seems right.
Yeah. So,
and it does add 13 scenarios at least, whereas the big mansions boxes are like 3 or 4.
3 with variability
scenarios.
depending on the scenario.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they all have variability. It's just sort of which roll of the dice you got on which scenario, I guess. Because I guess you could play 2 of them back to back and they would be the same.
I don't know.
There's a chance for it to be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a big expansion.
Yes, it is. So that's it for news.
That's it. Kickstarter begins.
Kickstarter begins now.
I'm surprised there's any money left in Kickstarter at this point.
They'll find a way.
Well, these have.
Yep.
Much like life.
Yes.
Cash
money
finds a way.
Yeah. So the first one is Genotype.
Very well funded. 125,000 of its $15,000 goal. 2,400 backers. Still 3 weeks left to go. Its most popular pledge being its collector's edition at $55.
Yeah.
This comes from the same people, Genius Games, that did Subatomic and
hopefully better games.
Hopefully better games than Subatomic. Subatomic. I want to say cryostasis, but that's totally wrong.
No, there's a list on the bottom that lists a whole bunch of the ones they did, but it's a lot of science-based games.
Yeah, they've done a lot of those interesting science-based stuff, which this page is loading extremely slow.
And all right, well, while you're saying that, I'm gonna check out this Jam Sumo.
I mean, I have it pulled up.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. What? Okay.
It's a cool game.
Gotcha.
Periodic. Subatomic. Cytosis.
Is what
I was thinking of.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Ion. Sciencey games.
Yes. Sciencey games, indeed.
But this one is about plant science.
Yes. And genetics and...
the genetics of splicing plant breeds.
Yep.
With worker placement and dice drafting.
Because this is based around Gregor Mendel, who performed his
paradigm shifting experiments.
Paradigm shifting managerial synergistic management solutions. That's what it was. Yeah, that's what that feels like. But yeah, his thing was all about like crossbreeding plants and basically figuring out how genetic traits work.
Yep.
And just a whole bunch of like
shape, color, height,
recessive genes, dominant genes, pundit squares, all that stuff. And so this uses, like you said, dice drafting and worker placement to basically do that.
Yes. It'll have various, you're collecting pea plant cards, which shows a set of traits that you're studying. And then you'll roll to select offspring dice to represent those traits. The dice are keyed to a grid on the board of genetic options. You play 5 rounds, each with 3 phases. You'll be working, breeding, and then funding upgrades. Goes through the various phases of what you actually do in there.
Yeah, you have the working phase, where that's you're taking turns with your markers to do things like get new pods, get tools, declare special goals, or reserve shifts to get certain dice and stuff like that.
Yep.
Then you have the breeding plants phase. That's where you're going to roll the dice, check the pundit squares to see the results, and decisions can be made while working to make some of these outcomes more likely and others impossible. But you can also roll mutations because, genetics. Mutations, they like throwing little curveballs in there. so they can provide opportunities to find unlikely results or means of additional funding.
And then upgrades where you get extra dice, take more actions, the usual.
The usual, yep.
Yep.
No, it seems like this is a good theme for a game, I think, especially for something like this.
So they have some stretch goals with engraved dice, linen finish, thinker punch board, bigger first player marker, action markers that will be wooden ones, and then they'll end up increasing dice size, more tool cards, etc. The collector's edition of this comes with some metal coins, some glass markers, and wooden gene tiles. And then there's some collector's edition specific stretch goals.
Yeah, and that is $70 for the collector's edition versus $50 for the standard.
50. Well, it's pledge of $55, MSRP of $70
for the collectors. Yeah,
for the collectors, but $39 for the regular edition, $50 MSRP for.
Yeah, so I was looking at MSRP. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then collector's edition specific stretch goals.
Yes.
Which are there any of them right now?
I didn't notice.
No, nothing at the moment.
No.
So, but yeah, no, it seems like a interesting one. I've only played one of their games, I think, and that was the Subatomic,
which was a mediocre deck builder at best.
Yes, but this one seems like it could have more options because my problem with that one was you just had to keep doing the same thing. Like it always felt like there was one path. There wasn't anything great.
Yeah.
Like you had different avenues to get points. It always felt like you had to just make the best atoms you could.
Yes.
but
I mean, this is their 13th game or something like that. So it's probably okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that is Genotype. You still got, was it a little over 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So plenty of time.
Next one has 2 weeks.
There you go. Yes. Next up is the reprint of QE and On Tour from Board Game Tables, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Shocker, really well funded, $85,000 of its $10,000 goal, over 2,200 backers, 2 weeks left to go. Its most popular pledge being $57, which is QE and On Tour.
With the European expansion.
I think it's just the 2 without the expansion.
Really?
Yeah.
Because On Tour I thought it came with the expansion.
No, because it's On Tour. So one thing that's new about this Kickstarter, because QE and On Tour are going to be reprints.
Yes.
But a European expansion is coming for On Tour. I think On Tour was recently announced as being like, hey, we're selling out. If you want to buy it now. Because it's not going to come back until this Kickstarter delivers in July or so.
Yeah. Go play and could have sworn I saw that this one came with. How else do you get the freaking European expansion?
It must be like an add-on that you can do.
No, here we go. On Tour includes the European expansion for $29. The expansion itself is just $19. So you can get 50. So you can get the expansion for both, or $57 you can get for the On Tour with the expansion and QE, or $47 for just.
Well, for $29, all I see is On Tour
with the expansion.
Well, they have it listed separately on other pledges, but on the $29 pledge it says On Tour includes. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the pledge, it does not say that.
Correct.
Yeah. It just says includes On Tour.
Yes. But the as you go further down the page,
you have to read the page, but if you read the pledge and pay $29, it does not specify that it comes with the On Tour expansion.
Yeah. Which, yeah, the expansion by itself is $19. You might be able to just get that. But you can also get all of their games for $117, which is QE, On Tour, Bites and Double Bites, and then Loot of Lima. I know we talked about that one.
Yeah, I think when they did this On Tour, the QE Kickstarter, I think they had that same bundle.
Yep. But they did make some changes for these reprints. For QE, there weren't really any changes that they did. The only thing was that some people are having some problems with the blank checks that came with it, and so they made them with a different dry erase material. And if you were having problems with your copy of QE with it not erasing correct, right?
Yeah.
You can email them, and they will help replace it at no cost.
Okay.
Which is always great, right?
Yeah.
And then On Tour, so if you ever saw the original box for it, it was way bigger than it needed to be. And
I don't think I ever saw the box.
Okay. So one reason it was so big is because they wanted to be like, oh, it comes with like four things, but you can get more. And then like you can hold up to 12 in this box.
I do vaguely remember that.
And like they were themed with like different artist style and stuff like that. And the maps were fairly big, but it just felt like there was just so much empty space in that. And so the new box is about half as thick as the previous one, around 2 inches tall instead of 4 inches tall.
Which is probably good.
Yeah. The cards, the dice, and the markers are the same, but the maps are a little smaller, a little bit thinner, and they're folded in half instead of thirds. And they don't have any of the decorative tape binding, but they'll be pretty big, and they can fit 8 boxes in a box that's half as small. So 8 maps, sorry. They can fit 8 maps in a box that's half as small. So the first edition came
they found out that not like 12 people are playing this on regular enough to make the box that big.
Yeah. So it was sorry, not 12, it was 8. But still, like you're like, oh, you could buy 2 copies and put them together. But now the first edition came with 4 maps, but the second one will come with 8 standard, and they will fill up the box. And if you want to play with more people, then you buy a second copy of the game, right?
Yeah.
Even more exciting, the map's double-sided, the original map, and then the Europe map on the other side. Now, the Europe map isn't rules-wise any different. It's just like a different orientation of things.
It's a different shape.
Yeah. And they have there's fewer connections on the map. There's 70 lines for 39 different the 39 countries versus 89 lines for 41 states. But it's easier to get from one side of the Europe map to the other versus the US. So they have like little differences at least, but it's good that that they're not charging you extra for it.
Yeah.
So, and if you have the first edition of On Tour, you can pick up just the expansion, and then they'll fit in the first edition box that you already have.
Yeah.
So
instead of buying a second copy.
Yeah.
You can just have 4 Europe and 4 US maps.
Yeah. And they actually released an app version of this game quite recently. The first 24 hours, you even got it for free, which I know both Jeff and I did. Have you had a chance to play it yet?
Nope.
Okay. Well, let me know what you do, how you feel about the game when you do.
Okay.
So.
And then there's QE, and it's QE.
QE is a great game. If you didn't pick up a chance.
Bidding, auction, bidding.
It's a bidding game, yeah.
With made up numbers.
Yes. And it's only $4 for shipping, pretty much like for US, up to all 4 games. So
yeah. These are all pretty small.
Correct. You can also pick it up in Gen Con for free. So that's also good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be shipping in July. So it's only, 6 months out.
Yeah.
5 months out.
But yeah, it's definitely, these are at the very, QE is a great game. I love it. And I've only played a little bit of On Tour, but I enjoyed Roll and Rights then, and it was it was interesting on how it plays. So yeah,
indeed.
Last up in Kickstarter,
we have The Rival Networks. It is just overfunded, $29,000 of its $20,000 goal, $780 for backers, and just over a week left to pledge this one, which you can for a mere $25.
Yep. So you should know that we like the networks here, the original one.
Yes.
We got the expansion, but haven't had a chance to play it yet, I don't think.
No.
But I remember at BGG Con, I saw Gil Hova demoing his copy of Rival Networks before it was very, very, very much a prototype copy.
Yeah.
Right? I'm talking like 18XX almost.
Some food chain magnate level components.
Exactly, yes. But this is a 2-player game of the networks, and it's supposed to it's obviously still the same theme about running your network executives trying to run a like prime time network slots for a channel. But this one is a simplified, streamlined version that's supposed to play in like 30 to 45 minutes instead of 2+ hours that the original gives you. But it like there's a lot of similarities between this and the first one. You're filling up the different slots. You've got your ads, you've got your money, or you've got your actors. That's the word I'm looking for. You've got the TV shows. Acting. Yes.
It's apparently going to have like little piggy banks for your viewers that are like house shaped that you put them in.
Yes.
Which is neat because it's not like a score track. It's tokens.
Yeah. Which is, I remember seeing that he just had like a very, very like a box that you just cut a hole in. So it's cool to see these little houses. I like
for your viewers.
Yes. Just put more viewers in one house. Just chock full of viewers.
Yeah, just jam them in there. There's no limit to the number of stars you can put on a show in the 2-player version, but you can only attach a star per turn.
Gotcha.
So that's different than the 2-player version. And then there's no aging in rival networks.
Right. Yeah. There's no aging. Yeah. Instead, shows available in new season are always more powerful than previous ones, so it's often a good move to replace one.
So it's probably going to be like different tiers of shows.
The original one did have different tiers, but it was like 1 and then like 2, 3, and then 4, 5.
Yeah.
But there were still times that like some of the 2s and 3s were like, but if you let it go like 3 seasons, then you're making.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that by not having the aging mechanism, they're still trying to get you to replace your shows on the regular.
But in this one, it's going to be more competitive. You want to get more viewers in a certain season than your opponent. It's in the base game. They say here that it's you don't really care about like having the most in one turn.
Right.
You're just sort of trying to make the most you can. Where this one, you are trying to get the most out of each round.
Yeah, it's a like a direct competition, whereas that one it's over 5 seasons who has the most. You know, like, I didn't do that great here, but here it matters. It's gonna, that's really gonna affect your bonus.
Yep.
You just
ads aren't going to be used to be attached to shows in this, but you will use them as like money.
Yeah, but the value will change based on conditions in the game. They never go on the show. They're only used to buy the network cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like some neat changes.
Yeah.
Let's hope it takes up the exact amount of table space that the networks did.
You know what? I hope it's less.
Much like Dinosaur Island.
Dinosaur Island and
Duelosaur.
I was so I still don't understand.
Like, this game doesn't seem any smaller or faster.
Yeah.
It's just 2 players now. Yeah, that seems neat. Network's a great game. This is probably also pretty great.
Yeah.
I like the little time slot, green room, rerun
and
boards.
I think like $25 is
a good deal.
That's a good deal for any of these, yeah.
People have paid a lot of money to be to name CEOs and celebrities and super celebrities in this already.
Yeah. Yes, they have. And it looks like once they get to like 30,000 on their stretch goal, they're going to add executives, which that was the expansion in the base or the
variable
regular
player powers,
which is I always appreciate. So
yeah, and you can get the networks on this. I'm not sure how available the networks has been.
Yeah,
print wise,
I don't know either. I feel like it's never been. I've never seen it in a store or anything like that. So
yeah,
I want to say I bought mine on a show, but I might have gotten it on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Apparently, there are some replacement network cards you can get with this Kickstarter.
Okay.
That he rebalanced some cards in the 4th printing. So you can pick up those cards if you had like an earlier printing with this. They're $1 for the reprinted cards. So I mean,
I might have to add an extra $1.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's rival networks.
Yeah.
Looks like it's seems like it's a good 2-player game that have made some changes, but still trying to keep the spirit of the base game.
I can see the spirit there.
Yeah.
In a 2-player friendly fashion and not just like, here's just a game again.
Correct.
I think that, I still think 7 Wonders Duel is probably the best, like, turn this game into a 2-player version of a board game that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can say that. You should try the, as much as I hate to say it, the Le Havre Inland Port. That one was definitely...
Yeah, because you guys did the 2-player UVA games.
Yes. The Cave versus Cave, I left feeling very, very mediocre on. Like, that would just felt like a less version of Caverna.
Yeah.
But that one felt like it actually had some new interesting things to try about.
Yeah.
So
that's it for Kickstarter.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Because that other Kickstarter has 45 days left.
45 days.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll wait till next week.
Yeah, we can wait.
Yeah. All right. So that is the end of news and Kickstarter. So now it's time for some listener feedback.
Yes.
The first thing up is always
emails at milehighgameguys.com. Our first email this week, which means there's more than one.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You going to be able to control yourself, Jeff?
No.
Okay. Had to ask.
Shit's going to get wild.
Gross.
This first email is from Ryan. 2019 look back feedback. I can get behind Marvel Champions and Watergate mentions in best of the year for 2019. Seeing as I bought all of the Marvel cards and Watergate has been my most played this year. Still haven't won. But Jesus, looking at my shelf right this second, what did come out in 2019? Okay, I see a couple now. Nemesis, 1 play. Escape Plan, 1 play. Tainted Grail, 0 play. I should play those more. Yeah, especially because you probably spent a lot of money on Nemesis and Tainted Grail, and Escape Plan's the Eagle Griffin, right?
Yeah, Vital. Yeah.
Vital Lacerda. That's probably not cheap. That's like $500 in board games right there, at least.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Play them. Finally, a bone to pick. I'm appalled and frankly embarrassed by the lack of mention for Video Game of the Year, Factorio. Here, I thought you were one of us, Jeff. Shame, shame, shame. Cheers, Ryan. No, fuck you, Ryan. That game's not out yet. That game doesn't come out till September 2020. I cannot give that Game of the Year until it is a 1.0 goddamn release. I'm not giving Game of the Year award to early access. I have morals.
Yeah.
The game is not out.
I don't know if I gave Slay the Spire Game of the Year in the 18 when it was totally early access.
That was definitely early access.
I don't have those.
It could be a 2019.
Yeah.
But Factorio is not out, so it cannot qualify as 2019's Game of the Year, but will qualify as a Game of the Year nominee in 2020.
It will go in the highly recommended area.
So fuck off. This next one's from Luke. Mid-30s, middle class, and white. Hey, MHGG. Hot hands here. Hope you're doing well over the pond. I'm not going to get political, but good God, it's all awful. I'm an underrepresented middle-class white guy, and I do understand represented middle-class white guy sports. I ride my bike. I play my board games.
I ride my road bike.
There
you go.
Ruad.
Yep.
I play my board games. I swim at the gym. I sail my tiny little boat. Every time he says that, I think of like a little white rowboat out in a pond.
Just like solitary, nobody. It's just
like mid 1800s, little white rowboat.
Yep.
My tiny little boat is the one they sail at the Olympics. It's a dinghy. It's supposed to go fast, but I'm really not very good. I'll tell you some of the rules right now because you should know them. You never know when it will be useful. In a dinghy race, you race around a course of marks. When you go upwind, you can't go in a straight line, so you have to zigzag toward the windward mark. So it's hard to know who's in the lead sometimes, though it's guaranteed not to be me. Then often you will go on a run or a reach towards the next mark. Eventually you will reach the leeward mark, and you round the marks. You may tack or jib, depending on whether you are rounding into the wind or away from the wind. You're following me so far, of course, but I hear you ask, if you're zigzagging around the course, what happens when you encounter another boat? What do? Well, my friends, let me tell you. If you're on the starboard tack, you have right of way. If you're on the port tack, that's left. When the other boat has the right of way. If you are both on the same tack, then the windward boat must give way to the leeward boat. You're not allowed to luff them up. Of course, the ultimate rule is to avoid collision at all costs. So that's obviously all really simple. Now, my wife, she does dressage. That's some serious middle to upper class underrepresented sport right there. There are two kinds, freestyle, which is to music, and tests, which every horse and rider does the same moves, and then the judges award points for execution. It's a little bit like horse gymnastics. Moves include walk, trot, canter, extended trot, pee-off, half pass, and so on and so forth. You do the test and then wait around and look after your horse while everyone else does it. Then you tow your horse home. As a small child of a mother who does equestrian show jumping, judging, and administration during their whole life, horse shows are fucking boring. I've seen a lot of dressage. It's horse dancing. I've seen a lot of equestrian jumping. Yeah. It's all real boring when you're like 6 years old.
What about when you're like 32?
I don't have to go to the shows anymore. She can't make me.
No, you're like, you don't own me anymore. I can just leave.
I can leave. I got a car. I got car keys.
Yep.
I got a phone with Uber on it. I'll get a car.
I'll just start walking.
Yeah, that's fine. Or sometimes you get a free hotel room up in Estes because that's where the horse show is.
Oh, okay. Then you're like, yeah,
that's okay.
I can zone out for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's fine. Unlike sailing a tiny boat, dressage is bullshit. Now the puissance. That's some crazy horse sports right there. But I'll save that one for another day. I am unfamiliar with that spelling.
Well, we'll know more later at some point, it seems.
Yeah. I hope this has clarified for you some questions you've never had. Yours, as ever, Sir Luke of Hot Henderson.
Well, thank you, Luke.
He also posted a picture on Slack in his
dinghy
wetsuit, I guess, that he wears.
Yep.
Got to be careful with his sweaty hands.
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to lose the oars in the water. Got to attach them at the wrists.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So is that it?
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email.
So now we do have one comment.
On the BGG.
On the BGG.
Yes.
And this is from our episode 176 and Marvel's Champions Attempt number 2 live stream, because you can comment on the BGG about either one of those.
Indeed.
And the comment is, I can do this all day, from May, but only on BGG because the Twitch bot will stop me from spamming all caps.
Yep, absolutely. Paul likes to fight the bot, and the bot keeps deleting all of his messages.
Yeah, the bot will always win, Paul.
Yeah, literally, always.
Yeah. I mean, you can try and game it by doing the caps lock and not caps lock stuff, but you know what it means? It means he's not doing all caps. So, in the end, America wins.
Yeah. That's it.
It is interesting to just watch how often he will get censored.
Old man yells at cloud.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's it for feedback, right?
That's it.
Okay. We have a lot of different ways you can reach us. What's number 1, Jeff?
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
With a bullet. We have Twitter as well. You can reach Adrian at MHGameGuys. And you can also reach me at Zach_MHGG.
And I am Jeff_MHGG.
It's a lot easier when I can just say mine and yours right after, because it's the same format.
You've been pulling the top and the bottom now.
Yeah. We've got the Instagram, we've got Facebook, all
/MHGameGuys, at MHGameGuys.
We've got the website, milehighgameguys.com.
Yep.
I got show notes on there. You also have the show notes in any of the podcast apps too.
Yes, show notes that have all of the links to all of the news and Kickstarters that we have chit-chatted about on this wonderful episode.
Correct. There's also links to join our Slack, which is a lot of fun.
A lot of people on there.
You can watch Jason.
2/3 of the Board Game Blitz, I think.
Yes.
all of the draft mechanic.
Not anymore, but yes.
Yes.
We also have Adrian's Japan trip channel right now. So he's posting all his yummy Japanese food that he's getting, which most of it looks real good.
Yeah. It's probably pretty legit.
Yes.
We have a Blood Bowl channel that we talk about Blood Bowl. We have Kingdom Death that we scheduled Kingdom Death in.
Yeah.
And share miniature pictures.
Yes. I try and keep it mainly for that, but if there are questions that are specifically for you, Paul, and Dan, I will text you. It always feels weird when Paul's so when are we getting food for our Kingdom game?
In the Kingdom Death Slack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Patreon too.
Patreon.com/ Mile High Game Guys. MH Game Guys. Mile High Game Guys.
Nice. Just search for it. I'm sure you can find it.
You'll find it.
Yeah.
There's probably only one.
Probably only one. It's help pay for all this, helps with a lot of our trips.
Sent Adrian to Japan.
No, it did not. Did not do that. No, it only paid for the upgrade to first class. That's all it
absolutely.
Did. Yeah.
Yes.
No, he was already going. We're just okay, we'll get you there in style.
Megan's got to go coach.
Yeah.
But we just bought a bunch of badges for the year for conventions that we're going to be at. We're going to be at Geekway. Geekway badges are purchased.
Yep.
Gen Con is
it's about to be purchased.
About to be purchased because hotels are going to be.
But it wasn't until the 7th. So I was I got a little bit of time.
Yeah, are about to be purchased.
Yes. And then I'm sure we'll go to at least a couple more throughout the year too. So
yeah, I might be working with Fantasy Flight for a couple more conventions this year. They put you up in a hotel room and pay you pretty okay.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Hey, they pay you. That's
pretty okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, like we said at some point earlier in the episode, all these Wednesday episodes are sponsored by Gray Fox Games and their current Kickstarter that is out right now that we talked about last week, in fact.
Yes.
Is let me just
Tortuga $21.99.
$21.99. Yes, that is correct.
Correct.
Yeah. See, this is why I don't do this. I'm usually checked out at this point in time. So it's for the best for everyone, I think.
Still a week left on that one. Pledge of $60 for the regular version, $80 for the fancy that has the exclusive mat and such in it. Basically just those two pledge levels.
Yeah. Deck building game.
Deck building, area control.
Good art. Seems like
colorful.
Colorful, yeah.
Bunch of minis, dual layered like hex tile player.
Correct.
Like play surface, which is something I hadn't really seen before.
Yep.
Interesting take on the wide world of Space Pirate.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you have some sort of statement? I always forget what you're supposed to say.
Do I have a prepared statement?
Do you have a prepared statement, Jeff?
Yes. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, life is worth living, even if it hurts you, even if you hurt in it.
Okay. Very apt.
That was from the Game Boy Color game.
Oh no. Oh, no.
Ghost Babel.
All right, I think that wraps it all up for us.
Yeah, we filled in like a good 2 hours.
Yes, we did.
Somehow. It was mostly Kingdom Death.
Mostly, yeah. Eventually, we'll...
I mean, the Kingdom Death 20 minutes could be a Kingdom Death hour if you listen to 1/3 speed.
It's true, yeah. I think that will be it for us. As always, I'm Zach.
And I'm Hydraulic Hoof Jeff.
And Adrian is having fun in Japan, so bye.
Bye.
Where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.